Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Dani and today it's time for my June M&M's TBR. If you're new here and you don't know what the M&M's TBR is, it is a TBR game that I use to pick the books that I'm going to read the following month. TBR stands for to be read, so I pick 5 books. The first M&M for the first book goes on the top, the second goes on the side, and whatever prompt I get, I have to use to pick a book to read on the following month. If I don't read all the books in the month, I have to add a challenge prompt to the board, which are the purple prompts that I have here. And if I do read all the books in the month, I didn't have anything like a reward for myself, but I decided to add one, and I'm going to explain maybe next month because that's not going to be the case this month. So do subscribe if you want to see what the rewards are going to look like when I finally read all the books in the month. But let's see how I did in May. In May, the M&M's picked the 5 books for me. So the first one is The Secret Garden, and it was for a classic, and I'm almost done with the audiobook, so I'm not worried that I'm not going to finish it. This is fine. The second one is The Unwanted, which was for a book that had the or of on the title, and I didn't even start it. The 5th season was for Black Author, and I did read it. A Gathering of Shadows was for Friend Pick, and I started it. I read 100 pages of it, which I would count as, at least I tried. I'm going to go back to it at some point. It's not a forever DNF, but I still did not even touch The Unwanted, so I'm not considering that I finished the CBR. And Gemina was for a book for my advent calendar books, and I did read it. So I read 3 out of 5 books. So before we start this month, we do have to add a challenge board to the prompt right there. If you have suggestions for challenge prompts for me, please leave in the comments because I don't have enough of them. Here I have like maybe 4 and I could run out of them. Like that could be possible. But let's see what I'm going to pick. Let me shuffle them here a little bit. Let's go with this. Previous TBR. So for this one I'd have to pick a book that was on a previous TBR and I didn't catch it. The Unwanted would be a good example for what could go on this prompt. I don't have any other announcements for this month. There are some co-readathons going on, but I'm not going to attempt to participate in them because I have a lot of very specific books that I want to try to fit here. And if you want to see other cool TBR games that other people have created and they play every month, there's going to be a playlist in the description of this video. Let's open the bag. There is actually one last reminder. Every month for one of the 5 prompts, I put a poll on Discord for you to vote on which book from the options that I put there I will read on that month. So if you're not on our Discord yet, the link is also in the description. So join us so you can pick a book for me. So the first M&M for the first book is brown. The second M&M for the first book is what's this? Red. We got adult, which is very vague and very easy to pick a book. So I have to pick any book that is an adult book, not young adult, not middle grade, adult. And I have quite a few books for my advent calendar that would fit this prompt. If you don't know what my advent calendar is, it's a series of videos that I did in December in which I asked 12 booktubers to recommend me books and prompts, and I have to read them throughout the year. So I have quite a few that could fit this prompt, but I actually have another one that I want to read soon, and I think I'm just going to go for it and put here on this prompt so I don't risk not putting it on the CBR. And that is going to be The Eye of the World, the first book in the Wheel of Time series by Robert Jordan. This is an epic fantasy series that I don't really know much of the plot, but there's going to be a TV show that I really want to watch, but I want to read the book first. And the TV show is apparently going to be released this year already, so I'm running out of time to read the series. So this is going in my June TBR, finally. It has 750 pages of a very small font, but it's here. I hope it's really good and I just fly through it. So let's replace the prompt. Now it's not going to be a challenge prompt, just a normal prompt for my Hobbit bag. And I'm going to go with something in the middle. This book. Okay, so this, because it has the green and red around it, it just means that I have to pick any book from my advent calendar options. The first M&M for the second book is yellow. The second M&M for the second book is orange. We're getting a lot of unique colors that we usually don't get here. The prompt for this is sci-fi, and I think this would be the perfect one to put a poll on Discord, so I'm going to try to pick 3 books that would fit this prompt. I would love to put To Sleep in a Sea of Stars here, but with another 750 pages book, I don't think that's wise. Okay, so I picked 3 books, and you will decide which one I'm going to read. So the first one is Red Rising by Prissy Brown. This is the first book in the, what's the name? Red Rising trilogy. This is one of my advent calendar books and it was recommended by multiple people. And as far as I know, it's just a book. There's like Cass and the guy's trying to get revenge. I don't know much about the plot, but I'm intrigued and it sounds like something I would enjoy. And it is in the advent calendar, so I'm going to read it anyway at some point. So this is your first option. The next option is a less well-known book, and it's called The Effort by Claire Holroyd. This is an arc of a book that already came out in January, and it's basically about the situation where there's an asteroid, a comet, coming towards Earth, and this group of people figured out a way to save humanity, but they are kind of trying to decide if they should save humanity or not. It sounds really interesting, and I haven't heard anyone talking about this ever, but it sounds cool, and I want to read it. And the last option is Obsidio by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. This is the third and final book in the Illuminae Files trilogy. I just read Gemina, like I said, last month, and I got Obsidio right after because I really want to finish the series. So this is going to be your third option. This is a mixed media format book, sci-fi in space. They are in spaceships. There's weird stuff happening. I can't say much about the third book. I'm going to put a poll on Discord and you have to pick between Red Rising, The Effort, and Obsidio. Awesome. I'm really excited for getting this very general prompt for you to vote. I feel like I have really cool options here, and I'm really curious to see what you'll pick. So let's replace the prompt. Let me also shuffle this a little bit. Not that it matters, there are so many prompts here. For the challenge prompts I don't have a lot, but for this ones I have really a lot. Of course, if you have suggestions, always welcome them, but I already have a lot. This one, LGBTQ+. So if I pick this prompt, I have to pick a book that has LGBTQ+ representation in it. The first M&M for the third book is green. Second M&M for the third book is orange. And the prompt is to buy a book. I obviously did not plan this. And it's surprising how many times I get this prompt on this board, which I'm not complaining. It was in a very weird location. For green and orange, they're not colors that we usually pick. And I got this prompt. I know I have a book in my cart that I really want to buy, so I'm just going to go with it. So I'm going to put the photo right here. The book is Breach of Peace by Daniel Green. He's also a booktuber. If you don't follow him, do that. Link in the description. He's really cool. And he self-published this novella that I'm really curious to read. I've been hearing a lot of really great reviews, and I'm just really excited for it. And it was already on my cart. So that's going to be read in June. Let's replace the prompt. Continue series. So if I pick this one, I have to continue a series. It can't be the first book, but it can be the last book, or it can be a book in the middle. First M&M for the fourth book is blue. I think we got all of the colors. This is really cool, and probably the first time that it happened. The second M&M for the fourth book is orange. Okay, so I got the book prompt from the advent calendar, so I just had to pick any book from the advent calendar. And I think I know what I'm going to pick. I'm going to be nice with myself for this one, probably. Okay, the book that I picked for this prompt was Today, Tonight, Tomorrow by Rachel Lynn Solomon. This is recommended to me by Michelle from Michelle Reads YA. I'm also going to link her channel in the description. And it's a YA contemporary that I actually don't know the story because I just picked all the books that people recommended to me in that series. Here on the back, there's a lot of text, but the main lines say, today she hates him, tonight she puts up with him, tomorrow maybe she's already fallen for him. So it sounds like a very cute YA contemporary, which is not something I usually read, so we'll see how I feel about this. But it's going on my June TBR. And let's replace the prompt for the last time in this video. This. Another book. So I replaced the prompt with the same exact prompt. I have quite a few of these prompts here in the bag because I want to get through all of my advent calendar books. Although all the ones that are left are quite chunky, so I don't know if they would fit this TBR exactly, but we'll see how it goes. This is the last book. So the first M&M for the 5th book is Brown Again. We finished where we started. So let's see. I have a book here that I don't want to pick another book from the advent calendar because, like I said, they're not necessarily easy reads. I have translated, which would be great because I can put a manga in here. Big book, which would not be great. 4th shelf cart is all the books that I'm most wanting to read, most trying to prioritize, so perfect. Prompt would be a prompt from the advent calendar. The only ones I have left are Gifted and less than 250 pages, and one that I have to go to Indigo to buy a book, so that one I'm not gonna do right now, but for this two, that would be okay, I could do that. And then the last one is Book Again. So I have 2 possibilities of getting another book from the advent calendar. We'll see. The last M&M for the last book for this June TBR is oh, something fell. That doesn't count. Just to make this more exciting, let's try again. Green. Nice! I love that. I got 1st shelf cart, so I have to pick a book that is on the 1st shelf of my TBR cart. If you missed that video where I built the TBR cart and showed you how I organized it, I'm going to link it and you can see the type of books that I'm putting there. This was really hard to pick because there are 3 or 4 that I really wanted to pick, but I went with a YA thriller that I'm really excited about, which is Don't Breathe a Word by Jordan Taylor. This is an ARC, but the book already came out in May, and it's, like I said, a YA thriller about a secret society at a boarding school. That's really all I needed to know to be intrigued by this story, and it apparently follows 2 different girls. Yes, separated by 60 years, so 2 different timelines, and there are weird stuff happening in this boarding school. I'm really excited to read this one, so this is going to the TBR. Okay, I think it's manageable in the end, so this is what the TBR looks like with the books that are already picked, but I'm going to be reading The Eye of the World, Today, Tonight, Tomorrow, Don't Breathe a Word, Breach of Peace, and one of these 3 books that you're going to pick from me on the Discord, so either Obsidio, The Effort, or Red Rising. I'm very excited. This is a very different TBR, like there's a bit of every genre here. Have fantasy, contemporary, thriller, sci-fi, and then another fantasy, which is the novella by Daniel Green, so I'm excited. There's a lot of potential here. Let me know if you've read any of these books and what you thought about them and which one you're more excited for me to read. I hope you enjoyed this video. Remember to like this video and subscribe to my channel, and thank you so much for joining me.